Hey guys, in this video I'll be making a game in 10 minutes. The game I'll make is Google's dinosaur game because it's pretty simple to make and fun to play. So let's get started. The first thing I did was make the game project and I named it 10-minute challenge. Then when the project loaded, I started the timer and changed the game background to black. After changing the background, I made a square and named it player. Then I gave it a rigid body 2D and added a box collider 2D. Next, I changed its color to yellow. After, I made a new triangle and named it enemy. Then I changed its color to red and added a polygon collider. Next, I made a new square and named it ground and gave it a box collider and changed its color to gray. After, I repositioned the ground, player, and enemy. Then I made a new player jump script and made a jump force variable and set it to 5. After, I made a rigid body 2D variable and called it RB. Then I checked if the spacebar was pressed. If so, I made it change its Y velocity by jump force. Next, I changed the function from an update to a fixed update for better performance. But before I could test out the game, I got an error. And that was because I spelled float wrong. After that mistake, I tested out the game, but I still couldn't jump. And that was because I forgot to give the player the jump script. Now when I press the spacebar, the player jumps. After playing around with it for a bit, I made the enemy movement script. Inside it, I made a speed variable and set it to 3. Then I made it always move to the left, and made an if statement to check if it's off the screen, and if it was, set its position back on the screen. Then I went back into Unity and made the player not be able to rotate, and tried out the game. But the enemy didn't move. That was because I forgot to give it the enemy movement script.
Embarrassing!
So I tried out the game and the enemy was moving too slow. So I changed its speed to 10 and tried out the game again. Now it just zooms off the screen. That was because in the movement script, I checked if it was off the screen on the right side, not the left. So I fixed that up. Now the enemy comes back when it goes off the screen. Then I duplicated the enemy twice to try to make more enemies, but that didn't work out, so I got rid of the clones. After, I went back into the player jump script and made a function to check if the player is colliding with a game object with the enemy tag. If so, I stopped the game. Then the timer froze, so I paused it and played it again, and it started working. After, I tried out the game, but it didn't stop when the player hit the enemy, and that was because the enemy didn't have an enemy tag. So I made a new tag and assigned it to the enemy. Now, the game pauses when the enemy collides with the player. Then I made a new game over text and went back into the player jump script and made it show the game over text when it collides with the enemy. And with 35 seconds left, I set the canvas game object, tried out the game, and duplicated the enemy again. Then the timer ran out. So whatever I have now is the final game. I tried out the game after working on it for only 10 minutes, and it was impossible.